Yeah, man. It's
All right. You know how back in the day we had Malcolm.
uh, you know,
Michael
yeah, all that,
or Kwame Ture.
and that died, right? I really do feel when the big riot happened. So to see everybody in that community, or maybe even more, because you have people that travel, that come to that city just to pay homage, just to see all those types of people come together and unite and stand together is such a beautiful thing. And then that's why I feel like compared to Malcolm, compared to Dr. King, it's a whole different. I feel like it's a whole different slate. And just starting out as a drug dealer and now having this big movement and having everybody peacefully coming together, man, we had something. We lost something. I really do feel like we lost our generation of Malcolm.
Well, see,
yeah.
The beautiful thing about it, because I've watched a lot of interviews after this, and a lot of the kids. I was fortunate or unfortunate enough to lived through the Biggie, the Tupac. Tupac actually died on my birthday. Yeah, September 13th, 1996. Wow. I was actually in boot camp, and when he died, and like I said, on my birthday. So every year. So that's why I wear that T-shirt every year on my birthday, because he. Yeah, but I've lived through that, and I was able to feel what that meant to
that generation.
Not only hip hop, but to the community. But Nipsey, a lot of people were kids or babies when Pop and Biggie got up out of here. So Nipsey was like to a lot of these kids, their generation, Pac and Biggie, and the fact that Nipsey was preaching by the block, owning his own masters, buying the block, trying to. In fact, I heard that he was heading from where from there. He was supposed to be going to meet with police officers for a peace rally and trying to bring the different gangs in his community together. And like I say, the STEM program for the kids in his neighborhood. So this guy, he was so powerful. And for me, for a guy to hate yourself enough to take one of yours, because he was around the 60. The guy that killed him was around the 60. To know, even though, if he was a snitch, he was a snitch. But that was still yours. And
do a whole show on that.
And he was, and he was putting back and bringing back up his community. How do you get rid of something like that? Someone like that only wants the best for you, for yours, for his, for everyone, and eventually, not only he was going to take that from his community, that was going to spread. It was going to continue to spread
everywhere. Then that's the bigger picture that I really wanted the people to understand, man. Leading by example.
So we hoping that there's some Nipseys that are gonna pick up the baton.
I really hope so,
and keep running this thing and keep buying the block. We hope that. Because like it's been said, we know that there's guys in our communities who name is not Nipsey, who's been doing these things. And we hoping that now that we can kind of lift them up, so we can bring out, because in Atlanta this thing is crazy. Every time you turn on the news, we doing each other. Somebody done kicked in somebody's door. Somebody done pulled somebody out somebody's car. We got to get to these kids, man, because if not, what we gonna have?
Yeah.
We hurting our own.
Yep.
In some way, we got to hope that this, hopefully, his homegoing will put a battery in somebody's back all over the world to keep this thing going, to keep this movement going. But it's time to take a break. We gonna come back. We got plenty more to talk about. We got a whole bunch of things I need to ask because we got some shrinking that we need to get done in our community. Our community is jacked up right now, on a whole bunch of different issues, and we got to get this thing figured out. So I got them in here. Family is in the building, so we gonna talk about this thing. Hey, man. If y'all need to holler at us, please holler at your folks at 404-603-8770. If you're in your mama basement, it's 888-926-7562. And you always catch us on Facebook Live talking around the Mish. We will be right black.
The opinions expressed during the sponsored programs on this station are strictly those of the program hosts, guests, and callers and are not necessarily those of Beasley Broadcast Group, this station, its staff, other advertisers, or agencies.
For me.
I feel like I'm losing my focus. I feel like I'm losing my patience. I feel like my thoughts in the basement. I feel like you're miseducated. I feel like I don't wanna be bothered. I feel like you may be the problem. I feel like it ain't no tomorrow. Off the world is ended. I'm done pretending. If I get offended, I feel like friends been overrated. I feel like the family been faking. I feel like the feelings are changing. Feel like my daughter compromised and jaded. Feel like you wanna screw and that's how I made it. Feel like I ain't feeling you all. Feel like removing myself, no feelings involved. I feel for you. I've been in the field for you. It's real for you, right? This shit I feel like ain't nobody praying for me. Ain't nobody praying for me. Ain't nobody praying for me. Ain't nobody praying. I feel niggas getting out of pocket. I feel taking half in their pockets. I feel like debating on who the greatest can stop it. I am legend. I feel like all of y'all is peasants. I feel like all of y'all is desperate. I feel like all it takes is a second to feel like Mike Jordan whenever holding a real mic. I ain't feeling your presence. Feel like I'ma learn you a lesson. Feel like only me and the music though. I feel like your feeling ain't mutual. I feel like the enemy you should know. Feel like the feeling of no hope. The feeling of bad dope. A quarterhouse manipulated from soap to feeling. The feeling of false freedom. A false freedom. The poison to fill 'em up in the prison. I feel like it's just me, look. I feel like I can't breathe, look. I feel like I can't sleep, look. I feel heartless often, feeling the falling apart with darkest hours lost in. Feeling the void of being employed with balling. Streets is talking, filling the blanks with coffins. Fill up the banks with dollars, fill up the graves with fathers. Fill up the babies with bullshit, internet blogs and pulpit. Filling with gossip. I feel like this gotta be the feeling where Pac was. The feeling of an apocalypse happening when nothing is awkward. The feeling won't prosper, the feeling is toxic. I feel like I'm boxing demons, monsters, false prophets, scheming sponsors, industry promises, Rackers, Compton, church religion, token blacks in bondage, lawsuit visits, subpoena served in concert. Your feelings, I mean, there's four imposters. I can feel it, the phoenix sure to watch us. I can feel it, the dream is more than process. I can build a regime that forms a likeness. I can feel it, the scream that haunts our logic. I feel like say some, I feel like take some. I feel like skating off, I feel like waiting for 'em. Maybe it's too late for 'em. I feel like the whole world want me to pray for 'em, but who the fuck praying for me? Ain't nobody praying for me. Who praying for me? Ain't nobody praying.
Welcome black, welcome black, welcome black, welcome black. It's your boy Rick Kane, and this is Talking Random Mish with your boy Rick Kane. Will Sane is doing whatever he do. The lovely Starlight is doing whatever she do. But I got family in the building. My family, our family, y'all family. We got the people that's gonna help us get through this thing, man. The shrinks are in the building. We got Miss Jackson, cause I'm nasty. And Eric, who gonna always be late, but that's what we expect. My man is in the building. How y'all doing?
perpetrators, somebody who might be grooming them. And I can go on and on about it, but we have to have it, the conversation to answer Rick's questions. It starts in formats like this, but specifically it starts at home, and we just got to be more direct with our language and more open, and just let our and let our kids know that we're somebody, we're a space. We got to create that space where they can come to us and feel comfortable coming to us.
Even to add to all that, completely agree. And I'm gonna say we have got to stop defending the fact that men would not absolutely do that. I think more so we're going to go more to the male question, but I think when we say, nah, they trying to set up Bill Cosby. Nah, Michael Jackson wouldn't do that. Nah, R. Kelly. It's like you are choosing who you're defending, and when your kids see you defending,
then that lets them know what you willing to hear.
Yeah, they're saying, no, I'm not going to tell you that because you're not going to believe Uncle so-and-so did that. You're not going to believe. And I think when we defend it, we make it okay, normalizing it, right? But then I know going back to the male molestation, I think we have to also understand that having sex at like 8 is not okay.
It's not okay.
You don't get to just be a boy and say, yeah, I was having sex really early, and there's no judgment to it happening. But it's to say, now that it has happened, I can't hurry up and put you in that fast lane because now you're an adult in your head because you're grown. And so if you get around adults or you're around grown folk business, a lot of the time you're not going to understand what childhood is. So then you're going to want a little bit more of what you've experienced. Nobody's explaining it to you. No one's saying, hey, this is, maybe
so what you gonna do?
Exposure. Yeah. And so then there's a lot of partners that are had. There's a lot of confusion that may happen. And if you started out with an inappropriate exposure, I'm going to love on this term, then it will continue. I mean, and then it goes into other individuals. So it could be other males. It could be other kids. It could be, later in life.
You might rationalize it happened to me, so it's
all right.
Even if it's not conscious, unconsciously, you make these decisions. Like, I think even people who've stolen, right, feel robbed at some point, even if they weren't, if their possessions weren't directly taken. They feel there's this sense of I've been robbed. We used to do the whole blame it on the white man thing. If we did a crime, and it's that same thing. Because I've been wronged, then this is, and look at me, I turned out okay. So it's not that deep, and we diminish it. We devalue the weight of what we're doing, and that's why you can look at somebody with a straight face and they be like, yeah, I just didn't know I was doing wrong.
But not even just because all that, but not even just that. I think in our community, we like to parentify. I know we've used this word before, but parentify kids much quicker.
Let them know what
that
means.
I mean, for real, because then you have 14-year-olds who are taking care of the house, doing all these things, single parent homes, they're growing up too
You're giving
quickly.
them adult responsibilities.
And so once they actually live in that adult lane, then they want to know about adult things. And so they lose that innocence, they lose that childlike nature. And in your own chronological development cannot process that sex is not okay for your age because the way that you are supposed to be conducting yourself, you don't even have all the equipment grown in yet. You don't have the understanding of it yet. So when you're actually engaging in these behaviors young, then it just starts the pattern. And it has started generationally like that. Color Purple is a perfect example of that, where you are literally marrying off 12-year-olds to 40-year-old men, and it was totally okay. And so there was clearly molestation happening there, but it was generational and historically acceptable. And so whenever that happens, we haven't addressed those patterns. We've just kept them going. Mama got a new boyfriend. Again, we go with Precious as a perfect example. I am going to accept that you stole my man, or somehow you're infringing on me, trying to be, whatever, and living my life. And now I have this space where I'm going to defend the guy because I'm too scared to be alone. I'm not actually addressing that my kids, whether male or female, may have been inappropriately touched or exposed. And then maybe my music or my conversations are exposing them even more. The outfits that I put them in.
So
all these things.
I don't want to rain on anybody's parade. As she was talking, it made me think about something. And one of the things, what we have to do as men, or what I say, the people who are a little more conscious about it. I was talking to one of my one of my clients about this, and I said, conscious people have to be okay with holding others accountable, being a bigger person. And we have to do like this whole, I know we don't want to do hashtag, but I got to say it. Hashtag not cool. Like I was just thinking about when I was younger, and of course I was stupid, and at the time I wanted to be accepted and fit in. Like if somebody said, if she old enough to bleed, she old enough to me, I might have laughed when I was younger. But as I got older, I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't laugh because it wasn't funny. But we have to, like, when we hear our friends or our homeboys or the people we're cool with say things like that, we need to say that's not cool. If y'all love this song, I'm gonna give it to y'all. But I hate this song, and I don't care. I'm hoping I'm not gonna get y'all in trouble. Tatiana, I feel like is like the worst song ever. I cannot listen to that song. I got a 12-year-old daughter, so it kind of eats me alive, man. I'm like, what's Cardi B thinking? But you know, that's her business. I guess you gotta make your money, and it's just songs like that. These messages that we may be more conscious, and we actually have the ability to filter stuff from going into our subconscious mind. Kids don't always have that ability to filter things from getting into their subconscious mind, so it's directly going into their beliefs. And if I'm constantly listening to certain messaging, then I'm also more likely to believe it. And so we're setting them up for failure. And so once they're adults, they are going to be still making these decisions that to us are, oh, that doesn't make sense, but to them, yes, that it does.
You've been training me to do this, all of this.
Let me tell you a story of how I lost my virginity. I was in the seventh grade of being fast, being observant, and soaking up everything that's around me. My first girl that I ever been with in my life was molested. She brought those traits and brought it to me because she was my girlfriend at the time. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to do it. The rubber popped on me one time.
You were in the seventh grade.
In the seventh grade, and all I know, it felt good, and I wanted more. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't necessarily say it messed me up mentally, but I would say those things actually happen. I look at my little brother. He's going to the 6th grade next year. My mom treats him like a little baby. And I'm saying he knows more than you think. And she doesn't believe me.
Because this world is a lot faster.
That's crazy.
Now, am I wrong, naive, to think that once you become, because I have said that this, or should have, at some point, once he got older, should have known that these things are not right. Am I? And then, but see, once now I've heard that, and you can explain this, that a lot of people that once they get molested, sometimes they mentally stop growing, or their minds mentally stay at that point where this PTSD happened. This tragic event happens. So am I wrong into thinking that once he became older in age, he should have known that some of these things was wrong? Or was he possibly mentally in a state where he could not see that was wrong?
There's probably, we just talked about this today. Actually, it's so funny. We literally can stay in the trauma age. And I think a lot of individuals, if you don't address it, you don't necessarily have to seek therapy. But if you're not healthy in that space, or you don't process it, perfect word, then we will stay in that space. There's going to be a little bit more of a challenge for you to then grow up with your own development, being 20, being 30, being 40, because you're going to still be stuck at, 8 or 10 or 12 or whatever age it was that happened. You're going to be right there in that space. And so it isn't necessarily that he could have done better. Of course, age and experience and maybe somebody maybe telling him. But at the same time, who's to say who he told that to and if they believed him or if they felt like, oh, okay, well, you're a guy and guys are supposed to have sex with everybody and it's okay. That's not really you getting raped or you can't get that, but girls can't. It's the double standard of that existing. It's like, no, you being sexually aroused in a space, being, lubricated doesn't mean, oh, I'm ready to have sex. It's just a response of a body. And so I think, to answer this question, mainly, yes, if you know better, you can do better, right? But you have to actually open up to heal. You have to allow somebody in that space for you to heal. And if you never process it, or if people just push it off, because even when this tape came out and he was peeing all over everybody, we still said, it's R. Kelly. I don't care. I'm still going to listen to his music.
We were stepping in the name of love.
Yeah, we still supported him. It didn't matter. And I think even with, like even with Lil Wayne, like everybody, I don't know if everybody remembers when he kissed
Birdman
on the mouth
Yep.
on 106 in Park. And then the previous interview, he literally came out and was talking to another young boy and said, you're going to have to get initiated like I did. I was 11 and you're going to get done like, I'm going to do you like they did me. And so I have to find that interview, but I'm sitting up here listening to it like he's literally telling you I was molested.
Because there was some things there's some things that has been said about Birdman. Yeah.
And I'm watching these patterns and I'm looking at things and I'm like, we have got to stop being like, no way, this can't exist.
Right.
There's this whole entire process of it doesn't matter who it is, no matter how much money they have. If someone comes forward, at least be open to the possibility that it might have happened.
Yeah.
Yes, it could have been the system trying to destroy somebody, sure. But it honestly might have happened. And because my tax bracket doesn't allow me to have that kind of access to the knowledge of knowing whether or not these things have happened with these people, I'm not going to be able to say, yeah, that's R. Kelly, no way. No, Bill Cosby, no way. Because as a female, and I'm hearing that, I know plenty of my friends or personal clients or anybody has actually had a molestation story and they've tried to tell people and people are like, nah, that didn't happen to you. There's no way. And then it just pushes you into a space where you don't tell anybody until you're like 30 or 40. And then you get into a space where somebody's asking you, well, if it really happened, why didn't you come forward? And it's like, do you understand what it's like to be violated? And you don't necessarily want to broadcast that. And I think now they've got that that rule out that says that you have to actually prove that you were raped, and you actually have to come forward with evidence to actually show and convict somebody. And I'm like, do y'all understand the mental process that comes with that?
Okay, now, devil's advocate.
I don't want anybody who's falsely saying that they were raped. That's the hard. Yeah,
that does make it challenging.
That's the hard part, because there have been women that have said, "Hey,
admit to.
I've been raped, and this guy did it, and it's totally." And now this guy, and I don't care whether you're proven innocent or not, you have this cloud over your head that you were
your
called,
reputation's turning.
Yes,
regardless.
Yes,
and that's sad.
So
it is. It makes it hard for the people who are actually traumatized. It really does.
Yes. So I mean, so it's, but the stigma and trying to get guys and people to come out and have these conversations. How do we make them feel comfortable to do it? How?
So because we start with the people who are comfortable. I think, I think we all probably see somebody or somebodies who are male that are open to talking about it. So you start with those people, and you branch out from there. But then also present yourself and open. Let people know, yes, I am willing to talk about this. This is what I'm here for. I'm here to help you. I get it. Or what's the best way to say it? Let's have that conversation. Then we have to create those forums. I wish I had my paperwork already, but one of the forums I'm working on is actually specifically for males. And it is not going to be specific to those who have experienced abuse, but I want a forum for males to come and just talk about issues that males deal with, because we don't always have someone who the way I put it in the office, has our backs as males. I think there's people who are fighting for the plight of women, specifically black women. There's people fighting for the plight of LGBTQIA. There's people nobody necessarily had to fight for the white man. There's people fighting for all of these other groups, but I haven't seen it where there's someone who's fighting or speaking on behalf of the males, the black males,
specifically
heterosexual
black males specifically, and we have to have those conversations. And I do want to just say that even and
hold on before you get to that point. Somebody just walked in the barbershop, which
they ran out.
Okay, cool. Okay, I'm sorry.
So one of the things I am working on even at the practice is creating a I don't even want to call it support group. Actually, it's just going to be like a round table where males can come, and I really want to flesh through things like mental health, manhood in this century, because I think it's changing and transforming.
Speaking of manhood,
because I think our old archaic view of manhood has led to a lot of what we're dealing with, but we can speak on that. So manhood, abuse, sexual abuse, and specifically for heterosexual males. That's one of the things I'm working on. I just have to send my proposal in before
we finna take a break because once we get into this next stuff, I just want to keep talking till it's time to go. So we're going to get ready to take a break because I'm going to come back because I got a question about this whole manhood thing. And a lot of people with Dwayne Wade's son. And we want to have this conversation about manhood and all this. But y'all, please stay tuned. We're in the barbershop. We talking about this stuff that needs to be talked about in our community. If you need to talk to somebody, please tell them where they can find y'all quickly. We're going to go to break, but y'all need to know these numbers because this thing is deeper than rap. It's deeper than life, man. This is about healing, man. Give them the number the way they can find y'all real quick.
Call us up. You can ask for Jackson, Miss Jackson. You can ask for Mr. Crawford or anybody else at 404-941-7326. That's ATL Psychotherapy and Consulting Services or atlpsychology.com.
And if you need to ask them something tonight, it's 404-603-8770. We will be right back.
It's a brisket celebration. It's a dime block declaration. 59th and 5th Ave, granny house with vanilla wafers. It's the remedy to separation. Tupac of my generation. Blue pill in the matrix. Red rose in the great pavement. Young black nigga trapped and he can't change it. No, he a genius, he just can't claim it. Cause they left him no platforms to explain it. He frustrated, so he get faded. But deep down inside, he know you can't fade him. How long should I stay dedicated? How long till opportunity meet preparation? I need some real reparations, or I run up in your bank just for recreation. Dedication, hard work, plus patience. To some more of my sacrifice, I'm done waiting. Told you that I wasn't playing. Now you hear what I've been saying. Dedication. Dedication. Look.
I spent my whole life thinking out the box. Boxing homies 3-on-1, got DP, but I ain't dropped. Chirp on me, here I come. Spin around the block, they blurted on me. Said I ran a stop sign, but that's a lie. I spent my whole life staring at the stage, playing Sega, daddy smoking Sherm, mama playing spades, catching vapors. Grandma said I get some Jordans for my grades. That's my baby. When she died, my heart broke 100 ways. I spent my whole life trying to make it, trying to chase it. The cycle of a black man divided, trying to break it. You take a lost shit, don't cry about it, just embrace it. Mine a setback for major comeback, that's my favorite. Mike in the L said you do a song with Nip. K-Dot here better grip. I said here man first, you hear the words out his lips about flourishing from the streets to black businesses. Level 4 y'all living, giving to false imprisonment. Listen close, my looking is bigger than deuces and foes. Splitting up since elementary, we close within numbers straight like that. I give you the game, go back to the turf and give it right back. For generations we've been dealt bad hands with bad plans. Prove your dedication by hopping out Grand Ams. I'm at the premiere, politicking with Top Nip and Snoop. Damn, Pac watching the way we groove for dedication. Congratulating, I look like hey. Congratulating, I look like what Nip said. Hold up.
Blah. This ain't entertainment. It's folks digging on the slave ship. These songs just the spirituals I swam against them waves with. Ended up on shore to their amazement. I hope the example I set's not contagious. Lock us behind gates but can't tame us. Used to be stay safe, now stay dangerous. Cause ain't no point in playing defense. That's why I dove off the deep end, nigga, without a life jacket. Couple mil, tour the world, all my life cracking. Cook the books, bring it back so it's no taxes. Royalties, publishing, plus our own masters. I'd be damned if I slave for some shit else. I was mapping this out, I hit the heights backwards. Topping out the 85 and Reebok classics. Ran a couple marathons just to get established. To make it happen, you got to have dedication.
Hard work plus patience to some more of my sacrifice. I'm done waiting. Told you that I wasn't playing. Now you hear what I've been saying. Dedication. Dedication.
Welcome black. It's your boy Rick Kane. I'm in the building. This is Talking Random Bitch. I got my folks in the building with me. The fine young therapists in the
Thank you. Oh,
no, we wouldn't.
Totally.
We totally
Right
wouldn't talk
here.
about you, my brother. I mean, somebody might think you are, but I definitely was not talking about you, my brother. Miss Jackson is in the building, and that other guy sitting to her right is Eric.
That's I.
It's Eric. We do have a caller. And if I do this correctly, we're going to get him on. Of course. We're going to see if he's here. Okay, and that didn't work. So I'm going to see if he right here maybe. Nope, he's not there either. So we might not have the caller, and I don't know, why do I not know what I'm doing on this board? And he's calling in now. Watch this. Hold on. But,
You like my whole music?
was your beatboxing? But
Like twerk music, like twerk.
Oh, okay. Now, I'm finna come back over there because I want to look at y'all when we get into this conversation.
Look into my eye.
Yeah, I want to look into y'all. Eric, you trying to show them you fine? You trying to show the audience you fine?
All angles. Go ahead. Put the music back on.
Now, back to what we this week, the posting, Facebook, Instagram, everything got hot because Dwayne Wade's son, his younger son, and I of course cannot remember his name, was at the Pride weekend. Very flamboyantly at the Pride weekend.
I didn't see pictures.
But weeks before he was in I think a fashion show, and it was basically came out saying that they would support him in all his endeavors. We support him. Now, a whole bunch of backlash came out. Everybody talking about the basic conversations I got is, how is Dwayne Wade letting his son be gay? And one of the questions, because I had a lot of conversation about this, is how at 11 do you know you're gay? It's a valid question.
Valid.
But then I got into a conversation with a man, and basically we were saying, he said at 11, he was somewhere with a ball in his hand trying to impress the young girl at 11. So my question to him was, why not at 11 could this young man be somewhere bouncing the ball trying to impress this young man? Because if you know at 11 that you like girls, why can you not at 11 know you like the same sex? Your same sexual orientation, or however that's supposed to go. So I guess the biggest thing is, now I know these last few years, a lot of this has been a fad. And if I'm saying this wrong, you can call it your boy Rick Kane. I'm easy to find. But a lot of this to me has been a fad because there has been a lot of seemingly gay agendas. If you say something wrong, you're worried about backlash from this. And even Kevin Hart could not do the Oscars because of what he said about some things he said 5-6 years ago. So I guess my question to you is, It's not. I'm not asking you. Can you be born gay? That's something that
That's still.
we.
Right.
I think we still. I guess
we still don't know.
And I had another
sure.
example in 3rd grade. I was in 3rd grade, and there was a guy in my class, and we knew he was different. We knew he was different. He knew he was different. And later in life, I mean, he finally, I guess, came out, but we knew. So 3rd grade, how old are you? 5, 6, 7, 8? Yeah, 8, 9. I knew something was different about this young man. He knew he was different from the other males. So can you, I guess the question is, and you know how black folks say, we're going to take them to church and pray about it.
Right.
Can you...
I think I know what
Can somebody be... What's the... I want to ask this correct, but I'm in the barbershop and damn correct.
Right.
Can you... Can I bring my child to you and you make him not gay? Can you undo his gayism?
Right. No. I think
simple answer, no.
I mean, it's a no. It's the same thing with all preferences. If I like these certain fetishes and certain things about my life and foods and whatever, just by you telling me don't eat chicken anymore, I'm not gonna eat chicken anymore. I like chicken.
Yeah.
So if the same thing happens with gender, and I'm heteronormative, right? All aspects heterosexual, however, identifying and understanding any other aspect of sexuality, and from my experiences in individuals who have identified as gay or same gender loving, anything, I have seen that it is specific to whatever you want, and then society and the norms that come along with that, cultural gender norms and everything else that might even be racially charged, including church. They push a specific way that you're supposed to be. Men are already gearing up to be emotionless and don't cry if you fall off of stuff, and be real tough and be obsessed with finding that one specific girl and running through a bunch of them. And then the woman over here, okay, let me give you a baby doll and teach you how to be married at like 9, and like you're already splitting it up front. And I know that just makes people feel very comfortable about labels. And so labels are only created because we need to put people in boxes. The same way that all other classisms and things are
feel
just separate.
Safer with labels.
It feels totally safe by telling you that you're gay or you're this or you're that. And so I can't undo a preference. Like you mentioned, I might just see a boy and be like, oh, okay, I like that boy as a boy, and I can be okay with that. It's when another person who says, that's not all right, that's not the role I want for you. I want this specific agenda for the child I created, so now I'm going to teach you, and everyone else in this space around you is going to teach you how to act as this specific gender should. I'm going to dress you in blue and the girls in pink, and I'm going to just separate it and continue to do that until eventually you meet up in the middle. You as these male gender roles, feminine, and just then you meet individuals who pass over as males and they have more of a feminine approach. I think we just discussed being macho and like trying to hide the fact that maybe your whole life you might have actually really liked boys or guys or men or males
toward the other side.
Right. The same way that you might just, and you've pushed behind this extreme version of it the same way that most people could if they were flamboyant in their own, But I think that undoing it, I've seen that people come in with this idea, no way you could be born with it. Again, that's up for debate. But I know that I'm not personally gay. I don't identify bisexual. I don't identify with any other version of just heterosexual. However, in my interactions with clients, in my interactions with my friends, maybe even some people that are very near and dear to me, I know specifically everybody has had the same story. Somebody forced this upon me. I already had these feelings, and then someone told me to do something else. And then eventually when I was able to be free and express myself, it wasn't any different than when I was younger. I didn't really maybe identify, again, we're going to labels. I may not have called myself gay, but I knew something was different. Same way you were seeing things. And we see that all the time, whether somebody is actually a male to male or female to female or female to male and female. I mean, it just depends on the person, the upbringing, the culture, the religion, the race, all of that matters. And if you are chastised for even having sexuality at all, and then you add being forced to be in one specific lane, then you're going to potentially have people who are identifying or hiding behind it. And then we have these people that are bisexual and they don't actually want to talk about it, or they're dipping in both sides, and then they're not doing it protected. So you're not actually voicing to a person with full agreement, this is what I'm into. And so it's okay, because you will find people who are like, both sides are great. And then other individuals who they're not looking for that, but you force that upon them because society's making you do that, or you're allowing society to make you do that. Then it puts you in a different space. And so that has been my personal experience with it, or worldview. You may have had something similar or different.
I'm going to contradict everything she said. Now, you know what it is? Let's see, simple answer. Yes, I can get someone to stop referring themselves as gay, but it probably be doing the unethical means, like, some aversion therapy, some fear and torture. But can I change somebody's attraction? No. So, somebody's attracted. Some people are attracted. That's a natural thing. Even when I talk to my daughter about sexuality, I say, being attracted to, having an attraction, whatever you're attracted to. And I try to actually even be neutral when I'm talking to her, because I don't want to assume. Because if she does like girls, I want her to be open enough to tell me. Because I don't want to be surprised, like, whoa, really? But so even when I talk about attraction, I talk to her about it as normal and natural. But I let her know the expectation in our house is we don't date. I don't care if it's girl or guy. We just don't date when we don't have a job and we're young.
Yes.
And so no, we can't change people's attractions. And when people come, I know when clients specifically come to me and the topic is about sexuality, we'll process it, and I don't push them either way. I just want them. The question typically with a lot of stuff in counseling is, what does that mean for you? So even as we think about manhood, right, when we're in our little break, manhood, the question is, what does that mean for you?
Now that's manhood became a topic because this guy that I was speaking with, he said, how can a man that wants to be a woman teach a man how to be a man? Now, my answer to that question was, I don't think all gay men want to be women.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So if you are okay with who you are, how can I not teach? The sexuality determines manhood or womanhood. So that's my question. It does does what I like sexually determines if I am a man or a woman?
I think we can influence it as parents, as guardians, as, authority. I think you can actually persuade certain images or ideas on someone to make sure that it's normal. But I don't really know if masculinity is like really one of those things that even women have. And you're chastised again if you go outside this box. And I know that has something to do with sexuality too. Like you mentioned, women teaching. I've always had this issue with this, like, mothers celebrating Father's Day too, when really it's like, you're still a mom.
I still have an issue.
You don't really get to be a father. You might be a single parent who then steps in with the role that is naturally assigned to men, but you're not a father.
Yes. Right? Those are roles.
Yeah, yes. It's a role. It's not. I don't get to be a father. I get to be a parent that plays both roles in being the caregiver and the provider.
People would be livid if dad started celebrating Mother's Day.
Right.
You better celebrate me too.
Exactly. And I'm like, I understand that we try and make these double standards and reasons that we do things, but there's no real difference when it comes to masculinity, when it comes to femininity. It's what you're assigning it to. Sexuality comes from that, and it doesn't matter what the gender is of the parent. Even in court systems, I think we've had one of these examples where two gay men wanted there will be more turmoil for a healthy, happy gay male marriage to adopt than there would be for a broken home. Facts.
Which is crazy.
And it's I've seen it. I've been a part of that, and I'm like, okay, because the idea is that somehow they're homosexuality and they're gonna
raise
So let me ask you this then. So is there a double standard between two men and two women?
Yes.
Because you see two women raising kids all the time.
Because it's considered motherhood to raise children. And so naturally, as a caregiver, I would have that naturally to be able to do that.
It might not know nothing about raising no kid,
and have no idea. But you're just seen that way in society. And so, no, there's plenty of masculine women and plenty of feminine men, and it has nothing to do with what their sexuality is. Pushing that on their kids, it's influential.
So, what the hell is manhood?
Right. Ooh. Come on, man.
So this is a question I've probably kept asking, and thought I answered since I did a rite of passage during college. So I think I started at 18, 19, and literally that question has been asked time and time again, and based off who you ask, you might get a different answer.
Yes.
And honestly, this might be bad to certain people. It's really about personhood. I think then manhood, it's personhood, because you got womanhood as well, and they're really virtually almost the same.
I mean, and they're the same, but you just
then you got to get into the specific roles that society has for each of these people. So, as a man who likes men, I'm a man who likes women.
But I was just about to say, please clear that up.
But
you did say as a man who
even for men who like men or women who like women, they can a man who likes men can still be a man, right? And still teach. Even a man who wants to cross dress or dress up like a woman can still teach you how to be a man, or a boy how to be a man, because it's a set of roles that we fulfill. That's really all it is, and a lot of that comes from hunter-gatherer times, because males are naturally larger, stronger, thicker bones and things like that, and the women tended to do other things, and they're even now women still or girls actually have better fine motor skills than guys. We have the better gross motor skills, and so some of that is just physiological things that make up who we are as a gender.
Yes.
And whether you like men or women, that don't change. That's just That's a physiological, and so we have to start looking at that. But also, it is something we want to define for ourselves, because if not, you're gonna just be depressed and anxious. But that's just my side note. I'm part of the movement. I don't even know if it's a movement. If there's a movement, I'm part of that. How y'all doing? That is okay with getting rid of that whole thing, because I think it causes a lot of anxiety. I think that's why you get these guys who are stuck on not sharing their emotions to the point of ruining their health.
But see, is that
so you get women who deal with a lot of BS to the point of death almost.
And I kind of understand, but not us as men not dealing with our emotions. That I think we can.
You a man.
But I think that you can, because it's mental health is now becoming a thing.
It's a thing, man. Did you know that?
It's on the good hand is bad, and on the good hand is good. That now we are talking about it more. So this whole thing about sharing in your emotions and opening up your emotions, I teach, and I tell men this, anybody that I've had these conversations with, it's okay. To me, you're more of a man if you can open up and share these things, because this is killing us. It has killed us.
Yes.
And eventually, either it comes up one or two ways. It either kills you, or you end up harming somebody, because you held this stuff in for so long, till when it comes out wrong. And the conversation that Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin had, that was, he was trying to explain to her, and they was talking about the abuse. Male abuse, and why they was abusing these women, and he was like, he wasn't trying to justify it, but when you outside in the world all day and you're told that you can't you being belittled, and you can't be
don't react to your boss in that way.
Yes. And so when you come home, you don't know how to get these feelings out. You don't know how to talk to this woman that's supposed to be your woman, and her on the flip side might not know how to get it out of him, so it comes out wrong, and sometimes it comes out.
Can I say something? Not only not know how to get it out, even if a man, some men genuinely want to share.
Right.
Society has put us in such a position that I've seen it where women don't even know how to hear that or receive
Yes.
it. And that's why that whole space for men is important because I get I deal with a lot of grieving males from 10 up.
Because you get men, because you get women who tell you you're a punk and man up. Because they don't know how to they don't know how to sit back and receive that from their man because they haven't been taught because of these idiotic society things.
I had mama say,
I got a question for you.
Yes,
I got a question for you. She mentioned, would you want your man to come home and lie to you if he's dealing with
Did you
remember that?
Did you remember that? Yeah. Did you see the whole James Bond and then Nikki Giovanni conversation?
Right.
Please look it up. It's a magnificent conversation. But what she said, and I'm gonna clean it.
Please.
What she said was, you out in the world all day. You faking for the white man. You smiling for the white man. You giving him all this joy and joyous things. But when you come home, you bringing me all this heavy-ish. Lie to me. Let me get some of this.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. I need you. I'm gonna show it to you. I'm gonna put it up because I really want you to hear it. But now, let me tell you what I took from that. Let me tell you. I took two things from that.
Yeah.
This is exactly what she. But let me tell you what I took from that. I took one from. Damn.
I know.
So from one side of this, I took that if I'm your man, love. The simplest definition of being in love with you means I can be vulnerable to you.
Right.
So if I walk in this house and I can't be vulnerable to you, that's a problem.
I completely agree.
Now, I understand what she's saying because every day you out here giving him this side of you.
Right.
Your
great
best.
customer service.
When I come in, I need some of that. I need some of that smile. I need some of that he ha ha ha.
The patience you give.
The patience
to the
that
other,
you give. The patience that the submissiveness that you're showing to the white man.
Right.
Why can't you come home and give me some of that sometime?
What James Baldwin said. What James Baldwin said when he was like, I can't put on this persona all day, every day. It's impossible.
Right.
And I just wanted to ask you, would you want your man to lie?
No, and this actually goes back to the conversation that we had about men crying and showing emotion.
Yes.
And I remember I completely disagreed with the idea that men shouldn't, because I believe that you should be vulnerable. If you can't be at home, you're going out there, you got to deal with the world in a completely different way than you probably would even want to. And to come home to a home that's supposed to be a safe haven and you would have to even want to lie would be an issue. And so for me, I don't want that. I don't even really, I can't say condone it because it's not really happening in all situations, but in any relationship that I have ever been striving to be in a healthy situation, it is something where I know I absolutely want a man that is vulnerable, a man that can actually show his emotions. I don't think that it's considered being a punk. I don't think it's considered being, I think that we, and I'm going to say as a woman, we need to be more open to the idea that emotions don't make a man sensitive and a punk. In that aspect, it makes him more able to connect with you. He does need the space to be, a man and go and be, himself. And because you can't identify with our emotions all day. You're not equipped for that.
Right.
So if all day you're sitting up there lying, for real, like you laying up in the bed and cuddling and kissing all day, we'll be arguing. You need your space. You do. You honestly do. And we have to be, we have to be okay with that and not see it as
damn you
yes. And if we take offense to that, then we will train a man to start to lie. We will actually train him to be less vulnerable with us so that he does go out there and present something for the life of everybody else and other things. So I absolutely agree that a man should be willing, and I don't like the fact that she said maybe she meant something else.
I'm gonna show it to you.
I don't like the lies.
We got to get.
You got to
next episode. We're gonna talk about emotional cheating.
You have to see this. It was a great because there was two generations.
Yes,
and they was talking about. It's a great conversation. What can they find, y'all? We got to go.
ATLpsychology.com. You guys, we're at 5835 Campbellton Road. That's in South Fulton, actually, now. It's South Fulton, Georgia, 30331. You can hit us up at 404-941-7326. That's Miss Jackson, Mr. Eric, and there's some other people there, too. They cool. And so hit us up.
When y'all coming back?
we need to come back
Yeah.
because I feel like this
Part
is leading
two.
into a conversation on emotional cheating.
Yeah.
But that's
When
just
are y'all coming back?
Agreed.
Please come
We
back
want
soon.
it back.
Next week? That's what
No,
we're
they
doing.
can't come back next week because we 420 and we
got
got it
you.
on
Oh, yeah.
420.
Yeah.
Maybe 420.
I forgot about
something else
that.
coming
I
on.
forgot about
what's
that.
happening 2 weeks.
Eat your broccoli.
Yeah, I think
2 weeks.
Isn't it the 26th? Wasn't that the
26.
26th?
26. Y'all coming back on the 26th?
Yeah.
They coming back on the 26th. Hey, y'all.
We gonna pick up on
Hey,
Emotional cheating. I like that.
I like that
we
too.
we
Yeah. I
think
we
that's
we
how you
riding
get
out.
to it.
We riding out to Nipsey.
Yeah, got to.
We taking the on Victory. The song is
Good
called
dude.
Victory Lap. We riding out to this.
Such a good man.
Yeah, man.
Victory Lap. I mean, it says everything. Thank y'all for joining us. We will be back here
The
in 2
marathon
weeks.
continues,
Marathon
With them-
With the
continues.
shrink.
Yes.
Hey, the Shrinks will be back on this marathon.
Yeah.
It's time to clean the clippers, sweep the floors. Eric, since you always late, you got the bathroom.
Okay, all right. I was
The
here on
shop
time,
is
my
closed.
brother.
T-shirt. Whatever, nigga. Playing chess, not checkers. Nigga, 38 special for you clapping. See, bro, you ain't living down by the street code. Been through all these motions up and down like a seesaw. I can never view you as my equal. I wanna hear your CD phone. I'm finna take it there. This time around, I'ma make it clear. Spoke some things into the universe and they appear. I say it's work that I won't say it's fair. Find your purpose or you wasting there. Though y'all can see it here. Eyes open, I can see it clear. They don't make them bar none, they don't make them real. They don't make it where I'm from, they don't take it here. They ain't seeing due time, I be making meals. Bossed up in this game, I've been making deals. Get your lawyer on the phone, we can make it real. I got checks and balance, I flex dramatic. Another 50 on my neck, just my reckless habit. Ain't no silly on my rap, disrespect is savage. I make one phone call and the rest get.
Do you owe $10,000 or more on at least 2 federal student loans? Then you may qualify for new programs offered by the Department of Education. These programs can reduce your interest, lower your payments, and possibly qualify you for loan forgiveness. If you have $10,000 or more and at least 2 federal student loans,